Well, hello everyone. My name's Rick Passek, the Fly Fish Fanatic, and welcome to my bench. Today I'm going to be tying a older pattern. It's an English pattern again. I'm really liking my English patterns lately. You can tie these in so many different versions. I mean, there's literally thousands upon thousands of versions of this fly. So today we'll be tying the Dabbler. So that is the version we're going to be tying. It's all green Dabbler. I haven't got to give it a name, whatever. I like them with a bit of a hot spot on it. So that's what we'll be tying. So today in the vise we have a Hens BL 599 in a size 10. We'll be using some Zimperfly classic wax thread in a fluorescent red, orange I think it is. Yeah, fluorescent red for the head. We'll be using Zimperfly 12-aught nano silk for the tying thread. We'll be using some Zimperfly nymph dub. This stuff is amazing. This nymph dub makes such good nymphs and leeches and stuff. It's amazing. And actually their dirty bug yarn is really cool too. That's their newest stuff. They've got some really cool stuff coming out. So for the tail we'll use a little bit of golden pheasant here. We'll use the neck part right in here, just past the beak here, past the head. You can actually even use right off the crown here if you're using small enough ones. You can actually even use this. I do tie it with this as well. There's, like I said, there's so many versions. A little bit of green grizzly for the hackle, like on the body, and then dyed green. That's kind of hard to see. Dyed green pheasant. Okay, we'll be using one of these ones out here. Okay, so let's get her going. Like always, these nano silk GSPs, they're slippery. Use some wax. Okay, just run it through there. Yeah, it changes the color, but that's just for the base anyway, so you won't see it. So just to make sure it grips onto this hook nicely. The other way you can do this, I've seen quite a few guys doing it. I think Lindsay Simpson, he does it a lot, is just take a little bit of super glue and just put a dab of super glue, just a dab on your hook before you put your tying thread down. Okay, so just get a little bit of a base just so nothing slips on you. Now I'm going to stop about there with my body. So I want to mark that area. Got a little bit of the fuzz there. I want to kind of mark that area, or at least make note of it, because that's where I'm going to stop with everything. That's where my body is going to be. My tail will be tied in up to there. My nymph dub will be tied in up to there. Everything, and then in front of that will be my front hackle. So you don't want to come all the way to the front here, because then it just builds up bulk, right? So first I will be getting a fiber out of here. Now, like I said, there's some really long ones back here, right? Don't really need that for this fly. So I'm just going to see if I can find one out here. There's a nice feather there. Yeah, so you don't need much. Just need a little bit of a... And you see these feathers have a kind of a natural curve to them. I want to have this curve kind of facing up if I can. Sometimes they don't really cooperate. So I want it to flare up like that if I can help it. So two ways you can do that. One, make sure you put it on the right way. Two, find out where you're going to end. So I'm going to end right about there. So I'm going to put my finger right there, and I'm just going to build a ball. Now you can do this in many ways. You can do it with thread. You can do it with dubbing. You can do it with whatever. I'm just going to do it with a bit of a thread ball. That just will help keep that material, and it'll force that material to go up. So just a little bit of a ball, not a huge one. Okay, just going to go forward. I'm going to take my feather once again, and I'm just going to try to orient this thing on. This isn't actually the greatest feather, but I'll see if I can do it, because we want to use everything. I'll orient it on just for now. I'm going to tie it a couple of 3-4 loose wraps, and I'm going to wind back a little bit. Then I'm just going to see where I am. I'm actually going to pull that. It's a little long. I want it about 1.5 times the body. That'll be about good there. So now I will go back all the way to that ball that I created. Right up against that ball, and that should help force that up. Now the other thing you can do is you can actually go in behind and get under that, get back to under that ball there, and then again there. So that'll force that up a bit. You can always twist that feather if it's not sitting right on top. So like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of this feather. It's splaying apart a little bit on me. So, but it will do. I mean, you don't want to waste the feathers if you can help it, right? So yeah, that'll do. That'll do. So there's a couple of errant ones there, but that's fine. So again, I want to end about there. So that's where I'm going to cut my material off. And that will give me my reference point. Oh, sorry, I just bumped the camera. That'll give me my reference point of where I need to stop. That's actually a little bit too far, but it'll be fine. A couple of loose wraps, then tighten it down. So none of my other materials is going to go past that. So I'm actually going to probably stop right about there. So I'm going to tie on. I'm going to go back actually. And I am going to go right to where I tied in that tail. Now I'm going to tie on my hackle here. So just going to separate the tip here. Just going to get find a tie-in point. Tie it in. Again, I will roughly cut that at where I'm going to stop. That'd be the outer limits of my body. So right about there. Come on back. Right to that tie-in point of the tail again. Okay. Then back forward. Just make sure everything's covered. Okay, now I'm going to take my nymph dub and I'm going to expose that center core. Just pull that out. I'm going to expose that center core just a bit. So it's not much, but just a bit. So I'm going to go right to where I want to. Sorry, I'm just getting this feather out of you guys' way. Right to where I want my body to end. I'll just try to catch that in there. So don't pull on this stuff too much right away until you've got it tied in, because you will fray it away from that center core. Again, right to where I tied that body in. Now I'll bring this back forward. I'm going to go past there, and I'm just going to go to there, and I can either do a couple of turn whip finish or a half hitch, whatever. I find doing a half hitch when I'm doing these videos, I always end up bumping the camera, so I'm not going to do half hitch. Actually, I'm going to put that back into focus just a little bit better for you guys. There we go. So, take my nymph dub, nice tight wrap right at the tail, and then just touching wraps forward. This stuff makes absolutely deadly bodies, and if you want to scrape it out like with some Velcro or whatever. Oh, this stuff is it looks so buggy. And what, like I said, whether it's the nymph dub or the new dirty bug yarn or anything like that, it's phenomenal stuff. It really does help make your tying better. So now I'm just going to make sure that's all tied down. Okay, good. Now again, just give it a quick little half hitch. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there we go. I'm not going to bump the camera. Good. Take my hackle. I'm going to do one turn right at the back, and then I will open up my spirals, come forward, and I'm going to put one right in front there. Maybe even do two. Yep. Don't worry if you got some fibers caught or facing forward or whatever. It's not a huge deal, especially these ones up at the front here. Not going to see them anyway. So a couple of turns in front, in behind to lock it down, a couple of turns in front there to lock it. Cut off your excess. just stroke all those little fibers back if you can. There we go. Now you've got a couple of choices. You can leave it just like that. That looks really good. Or if you want it a bit buggier, take your, I'll use my stone full one. Take your dubbing brush and just give that just not too much. Just pull some of that fiber out. I don't want to do too much, but it'll make it look just a slight tad buggier that way. You see how some of these little fibers up here have come out, right? Those little soft little fibers there. That stuff. Yeah. So when that gets wet, it looks pretty cool. So there's that. Now I will take my fiber, my pheasant skin here, and I'm going to, I peeled off all the fluff that I don't want. Okay. Now I'm going to want pretty well right at the end there. Pretty darn close. I might want it just a little bit less of that stuff. So I'm just going to make sure I got it all peeled off what I don't want. And then up here, I'm going to go and just split it open. My feather. Okay. That's my tie-in point. That's about how much fiber this stuff is, about how much I want to use. So I'm going to take that and I'm just going to, off camera here, just give it a little nip. So all I've done is created that little tie-in point. And then I'm going to lay it on my side. Okay. Get that nicely caught, tied in. Get that nicely tied in because you're going to be tugging on it a little bit. I mean, not much. You're just wrapping this up. Again, half hitch or a whip finish. So now I've got two choices. If I want this a really bushy one, I can leave it just like it is. If I don't want it bushy, if I want it more like this one, which is a little bit more sparse, what I'll do is when I'm going to go this way to tie, this side is going to get caught down all the time, right? This is the side I want to keep, right? So I will just quickly peel that side off. Now you can do that ahead of time or not. It's up to you. So again, just stroke that back. Make sure it stays right there. And then this one, this wrap right in front of that last wrap. Pull it through. This wrap right in front of that last wrap. Pull it around, and I think that will be it. Yep, that'll do it. So now I'm just gonna lock that down. Sorry, I'm gonna be a little ginger here again, so I don't bump the camera. Just hold that. One, couple more behind. Then I'm gonna fold that quill back, and I'm gonna tie right over top of it. That locks that in. So now you don't have to worry about it at all. Now there's a couple of things you can do. You can cut it, or you can hold tight on your thread and just give that a pull. Sometimes it'll break off nice, sometimes it won't. That time it didn't. See, it actually undid. So, which, again, not a huge deal. I can always go and put another feather on, and that's what I'm going to have to do here. Not a big deal. That one was obviously a bit stronger of a feather, so just unwind. It happens to everyone, so don't get frustrated when you're doing this stuff, especially if you're new at it. Don't get frustrated. These smaller feathers can be, sometimes they can be a little on the brittle side. So I'll grab another one. Same thing. We'll just do it again. Not a big deal. I'll do this one a little quicker. I'm not gonna talk as much, but we'll get this one done. A little bit shorter. Nippy nippy, tie her in. That didn't catch right. Having a hard time seeing with this videotaping light in my face, but oh well. There we go. That tied, that's good. That'll get that one. So again, strip off the side I don't want. Strip off a few from this side because it's a little more than I want from this side as well. Wrappity wrap, one in front of the other. Like I said, don't get all frustrated if you're new to this and you're just learning how to do soft hackles and wrapping hackles and stuff like that. Don't get too frustrated if you if you do what I just did and break one off. I mean, that happens. I was doing that to show you guys. Normally I'll cut them, but I was just trying to show you guys that they do snap off easy sometimes. That time it didn't. So again, redo it. Now I'm going to cut it. Just going to reposition that in my vise a little bit. Just cover that up a bit, just a tiny bit. Don't need to, because I'm going to be putting a hot spot in. Okay, don't worry about what the feathers look like right at this moment. They're probably not laying perfect, which is fine. Now I'm going to take some of my, in this case, Zemperfly waxed thread, classic waxed. You can use any really nice bright thread or glow braid. I mean, there's so many different things you can use here, right? So don't want to build a huge head up here. Okay, you just all you're doing is adding a hot spot. That's it. And now I'm gonna, after I've cut off my waist there, I'm just gonna get right in there and do a bit of a whip finish. Make sure that's nice and tight. Cut that off. Now I'm going to grab my brush, just kind of brush any of those feathers that got caught while I was twisting it there. So, and that is the finished dabbler. That's it. Like I said, it's a very, very simple style, but it takes a bit to learn. So especially if you're new at tying. I mean, if you've been tying for a long time and you've done woolly buggers, well, then you know how to wrap your hackle, right? If you've done any kind of a wet fly, you know how to wrap your the front hackle here. It's not really difficult. It's just that if you haven't done it before, this is a little bit more difficult than some of the flies that I've been posting. I've been trying to post fairly simple patterns for people, so people that are new can learn. But this is the next step. I mean, it's not a hard one, but it is the next step. So when these get wet, these things look really buggy. They'll go back almost kind of like a leech, but then when you stop stripping, they really pulsate nicely in the water because of this, right? Now you could build up right behind here where I stopped and started, and I put on my front hackle here. You could stop there and build up a little bit of a dubbing ball and then put that in, and that'll even flare it out even more. It'll really flare itself out, right? So, but these dabblers experiment with colors, reds and yellows and greens, and put hot spots in them, put flashy underbodies in them, use different tail fibers, put cheeks on them if you want. You can use something like the Zemperfly UV, Cheeky UV, I think it's called. Yeah, there it is. Right, you can do that and put some cheeks in it. You can use jungle cock for cheeks. There's so many ways to do this. You can do dubbing for bodies. You can do silver holographic for bodies. Just the possibilities with dabblers and crunchers and stuff like that are endless. They're absolutely endless. So, but this green one I really like. I've had really good success with it. It's really buggy, right? So if you want to use these in rivers, you can. You can use them just like they are with a sink tip if you want, or put a big a tungsten bead on it, a brass bead, or whatever, right? So they work really well. So if you like my tying videos, please consider subscribing, like the video, and smash that notification bell. I'll be trying to put up as many as I can, probably at least 3 a week, 2-3 a week, whether they're tying videos or review videos, we'll see. So once again, tight lines, and give that one a try.